These parenting videos are meant to instruct, give practical advice, and entertain. So please share them with your friends. And don't worry, we're going to handle those serious topics with real class. Thanks for watching Dougie's Fresh Parenting Tips on Tape. Hit it!
All right, bud, we gotta hustle up. We gotta go to church.
Dad.
No fussing, bud. We gotta go.
Dad.
We gotta go.
Mom.
How do you want your eggs?
But Mom.
Hey, we need to get going. We're gonna be late for church, so we gotta get breakfast done. All right, guys, let's go.
Let's go. Come on, time to go. Let's get in the car.
Get going.
Come on. Let's go.
Step out the door. All right, let's go.
All right, here we go. Let's go. Car's in the drive.
Mom, Dad.
What?
It's Saturday.
Hey parents, so you need some help getting them to church, huh? You need to tell them why it's so important? Well, think about this. Fuller Seminary from California did a 10-year study on what a kid needs to go through church in high school and then to graduate and have the faith that sticks with them. One of the top 3 things they found was that kids who went to church on Sunday mornings with their parents had a faith that tended to stick with them past high school. So if your kids are older and they're hitting the teenage years, super important to take them with you to church. But if you got younger kids, you're not off the hook. Because they say kids 1 year old to 10 years old, that is the prime time for learning right from wrong, from learning morals, from planting seeds in their heart and understanding how much God loves them. And it's not just about how much God loves them, it's learning right from wrong. It happens from 1 to 10 years old. When a kid hits 10, it drops drastically on what gets cemented into their heart. So you got to be pouring in as much as you can from 1 to 10. And just getting there on a Sunday and getting through the doors, that isn't what counts. What counts is actually doing something when you're there. So pay attention to the sermon. Pay attention to the lessons that your kids are taking if they're going to little kids Sunday school. And on your way home, talk about it. Ask them what they thought. Did they like it? Did they not like it? What did they learn that was maybe new? What was something that sounded cool? What were some questions they had? Look up the answers when you get home. Keep reading in the Bible the portions that you were learning about in Sunday sermon. And if some of your kids have questions and they're starting to doubt a little bit and they're older, totally okay. They hit an age when they have to start to figure this stuff out for themselves, and you want to make sure you're giving them a place to be able to talk about it. And don't just show up and listen, but you know what? Maybe if you do something as well, that might help teach them the importance of being there. Because you're really part of a team. And speaking of team, think about it. Being an athlete on a team is a lot like being a part of a church. Now the athlete has to show up at practice, but they have to do a lot more too. They have to eat right, they have to lift their weights, they have to do their cardio, and they have to go to practice. Being a part of a church is kind of the same thing. You have to show up, go to church, but you have to do some other things too. Pray, read the Bible, serve. But it's kind of the same thing. And realize the athlete that's on a team, just because he goes to practice a couple times, doesn't mean he's going to get a lot better. He's got to keep going to practice, and he might not get better for a week, a month, maybe not till the end of the season, or maybe even a couple seasons down the road. But at some point, that athlete, if he keeps doing what he's supposed to be doing, keeps showing up for practice, he will get better. And he'll look back and think, man, I'm a lot better than I was last season. It's kind of the same thing with being in a church. You're not going to get a lot closer to God just by going once or twice. You're not going to feel like more of the team just because you went 3 weeks in a row. But if you keep going, you keep showing up, a year goes by and you think, hey, I feel a little bit closer. Hey, I got some friends that I didn't have before. Hey, I think I understand God a little bit more. I think I maybe love Him just a little bit more than I did last year. And you'll actually be able to see some growth, but it'll happen over time. And when you're on the team, there's that expectation that you do show up. And when you show up at practice, certain things happen. Again, being a part of a church is kind of the same way. You show up at practice and you listen to your coach. You show up at church and you listen to your pastor. You're on a team and you show up at practice and you study your playbook. Well, if you're part of a church, you show up and you study the Bible. And then at some point, if you're on a team, it's game day and you put into practice everything that you've been learning. Well, if you go to a church, game day isn't Sunday. Remember, that's kind of like practice. Game day is every day outside of Sunday. It's when you put into practice everything that you've been learning. So whether you're an athlete on a team going to practice, doing what you need to do, or you're in a church doing what you need to do, you kind of need to show up. And after a while, things will start to get better. Your faith will get a little bit stronger. And if nothing else, remember this simple fact. It's a verse from Hebrews 10:25. It's kind of short, but it's really to the point. It says, hey, don't forget to be meeting together. Don't get in the habit of not being together. Kind of straightforward, kind of simple. Parents, you got this. I'll see you at church on Sunday. I'm Dougie, and that's my fresh parenting tip on tape.